we're watching, but the world is watching, and this is what scares me, because there are soon-to-be, possibly would-be illegal immigrants south of the border, and they're watching what's happening at the border in this so-called caravan. And if these people are allowed into our republic, it sets a horrible precedent, and it gives them a green light to come up. But you heard Scalise talk about terrorists. I think terrorists are watching this too. And they saw what happened on Sunday, and that huge mass of people, and we moved a lot of our people, our personnel, to the border to stop them. Well, that's a perfect diversion, is it not, for their nefarious activity at some other point down along the border where it's become the weekend. In other words, there are huge national security implications here.
No question about it, Graham. Listen, the Border Patrol has had to deploy resources that are in Texas and Arizona, move them all to San Diego area to try to deter the caravan. And naturally, the drug traffickers and smugglers all know the weak points. Look, the smugglers, the caravan crowd, they all know U.S. policy better than most American citizens, I guarantee you. And, you know, we all saw what happened in Europe in 2015. If you establish a policy that says that unlimited hundreds of millions of people can come, crash your borders, demand asylum, get elaborate hearings, get a work document, public benefits for years before they ever get a hearing, and then expect taxpayers to spend all this money go finding them after the fact while Democrats push for big amnesty, you know then what's going to happen. You're going to get millions more.
Yep.
And so our asylum policy is not supposed to be a death sentence for the nation. It's not supposed to create total chaos and out-of-control immigration. Congress has got time in the lame duck. Call them back in. You know, Ryan needs to step aside for a while. Let's let someone else run things for a bit. Bring up an asylum reform package that says, look, if you go through any safe country, you can't make an asylum claim in the U.S. You can't run through 5 or 6 countries and decide where you want to live. That's not the way international humanitarian law works if you're a bona fide refugee. This is plain, simple alien smuggling, organized trafficking, nothing more, nothing less.
And there's plenty of time for these Republican leadership in this lame duck session to accomplish something like this. They're talking about E-Verify, hope and pray that happens, but how about plugging these loopholes and ending the special status that allows these people to think that they can just, we are a civil society, and these people are coming up from the third world. And by the way, Dan, they're moving from the San Ysidro area, which is South San Diego, essentially just north of Tijuana. They're moving from the TJ area. They're moving east toward Yuma, and they're going to try and cross there, and they'll probably end up at El Paso because of this very same reason that I talked about just a few seconds ago. They're simply trying to exploit these loopholes in our law. They want us to conform to them, and the message has to be sent, no, we are a civil society. You can't do that.
Well, Senator Feinstein originally drafted the bill that said if you show up with minor kids, you're going to get special treatment. That's the Wilberforce Anti-Trafficking Act, a law that now is exploited by traffickers. The better part of political leadership would be to come forward and say, you know, it was a well-intended law, but obviously having unintended consequences. Need to change the law. But for whatever reason, the Democrats have this view, we don't have to do anything. We can play politics with this issue. You know, we're not going to give Trump any victory. We don't want to see Trump sign a DACA amnesty bill in the Rose Garden, so we're not going to give him anything, even though he made magnanimous offers in the State of the Union last year to give them this year, actually, to give them a big amnesty in exchange for what he wanted. Trump's got some very specific things, right? Build a wall, get rid of diversity lottery, cut chain migration, E-Verify. It's very popular. The American people want it. How come Congress can't deliver?
We're either a nation of laws or we are not. And to be perfectly frank, these people don't look like refugees to me. Not the refugee pictures I've seen before. They're walking with cell phones. That doesn't look like exactly how I would define personally a refugee. They should go home, get in line with everybody else, and wait lawfully the way we want them to do it by our laws instead of trying to exploit the weaknesses they then know exist in the existing law. And it's very important that this president pushes back, not only in court to these lawyers dressed in black robes that are trying to stop him from enforcing existing immigration law, but it's also very important that we deploy tear gas and pepper spray, just like Barack Obama did in 2012 and 2014. And it's very important that we push back and the president shows this force to say, hey, you got to play by our rules. It sends a message to everyone in the world who's watching this situation unfold right now. Dan, thanks.